Hello again and welcome back to the channel where it's Super Rugby action time, and this time is part 2 of this week's episode. We have now a look forward to round 13 where there are 7 matches in action. That means 4 teams are having a bye. Those 4 sides are the Brumbies, the Cheetahs, the Highlanders and the Hurricanes. So 7 matches to have a look through. We'll see who I think is going to win, why I think they're going to win, and of course my score prediction heading into this weekend's actions. So thanks for joining me. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a hot cup of whatever the hell you drink, and let's have a look at the rugby action coming up this weekend. We start things off in Christchurch where it is the Crusaders up against the Waratahs. Friday night kickoff for this one that could be a little bit more epic than it seems it's going to be. It's the top New Zealand side versus the top Australian side. Normally that would equal a mouth-watering prospect, but the gulf between the two conferences this year has been quite considerable. Despite the result that the Crusaders suffered last week, I still think they put in a pretty good performance, and if you had a bit of luck go the other way with the disallowed tries maybe being scored, it could have been a very, very different match last weekend in round 12. I think the Waratahs are still struggling to really get to the peak of their game, but I do think that last week they did convincingly shut out the Bulls, which would give them very, very much a lot of confidence, which is the first real key you need to running out there on the field. Confidence in your ability, confidence in getting the job done. I don't think it's going to be enough for them though, and the Crusaders are going to get back to the form that we know and expect them to be. And they've got Ryan Crotty back in midfield as well, which I think they really missed last weekend. Him coming off the bench was too late to really make an impact, and I think they'll do good. Back at home, Waratahs, fleeting performances recently, and they'll struggle to get up to the level of the Crusaders, who I've got coming out on top, 34-17 over the Waratahs. Game 2 of the weekend, and we're over in Australia, in Brisbane, for the Queensland Reds, up against the Sunwolves, and this one has a lot of potential. And it's bizarre to see the Sunwolves always in action around that 5 o'clock time here in New Zealand. I mean, if it's Saturday night, Sunday night, doesn't matter where they play, at home or away, it's always the middle of the night or it's late afternoon, which isn't really the best of times to be sitting down watching rugby when you have about 4 or 6 matches in a row like we have this weekend on Saturday night. But still, we need to sit down, get ready to watch the Sunwolves. 5 o'clock should be a cracker. I've been impressed with the new look Reds. I mean, so good they've played this season since all the debacle earlier on in the year. They attack well and they play to their strengths, which is always a key component to getting the job done. They know where they want to put the ball and they have a good game plan that they seem to always be able to put together. The Sunwolves, they'll be happy, but I think they'll be just a bit annoyed as well. They should have claimed what would be... It would have been a huge win, a massive win over one of their best sides in South Africa, the Stormers. But their attack, they need to take it from their match. And remember, that is their key component. Give it to the key men like Yamada, the ones who are going to do the damage and could really carve the Reds up. Big chance for the Sunwolves could get the result over the Reds, but I've still got the Reds to come out on top by a whisker, by a slither, by a tiny little bit. 36-33 over the Sunwolves. We'll make our way back to New Zealand and in Hamilton where the Chiefs are back and they are up against the Rebels. Now, the Chiefs, it has been far too long since we've seen the Chiefs in good form. They were flying high in the sky, no one could touch them. Then the Highlanders brought them down a peg or two, and their performances around that time were not as convincing as we've seen from them, say, a month or so ago. They're back from the bye, which is going to be huge for them, and they need to wake up. They've had a bit of a break, had a bit of a time to reconsider where they are. Now it is time for them to attack. The Rebels are still a good side, though. We can't just discount the Rebels. They're still in that tussle for the top spot in the Australian Conference, but I think they're really going to need to be at their best. The Chiefs need to be at their best. This is either going to be a really close struggle for the Rebels, an arm wrestle tussle that the Rebels could really win, or the Chiefs will awaken and they will absolutely destroy the Rebels and everything that they lay down in front of them. A big win here for the Chiefs. I need them to come back. We need the Chiefs to be full of confidence and full of form, because this New Zealand Conference is looking really tight. Someone needs to grab it by the scruff of the neck. Will it be the Crusaders, the Chiefs, the Highlanders, or even the Hurricanes? Both of those last two, of course, on the bye. I've got the Chiefs coming out on top in this one, 28-11 over the Rebels. Could go any way, but I think the Chiefs are going to start hitting their straps once again. Big flight back over to Perth now, where we have the Force, who are hosting the Blues on their way back from South Africa. And what can we say about the Blues except they were simply dreadful versus the Lions. Their worst performance, and like we spoke of in the review of round 12, the Blues need this win. More than anything, right now, they need to win and win big. They need bonus point wins here against teams like the Force, or their season is over and they're just filling in numbers because they just wouldn't be able to catch the other side of the other four sides in the New Zealand Conference. They need big results, and they need them now. The Force, I think, have taken a backward step from where they were a few weeks ago. They've fallen back to their old ways, and they need to get back to that attacking, that new look Force that they had not so long ago, where they weren't playing as best as they could, but they are developing that attacking rugby style, which could really change the whole franchise. They've got a good chance here to trip up the Blues, who will be eager to get home, but can they have one more match before they reach there? I've got the Blues coming out on top over a low-scoring, tight one over the Force, 19-15. The Blues will sneak it, but not get that bonus point they really desire. We'll make our way back over to Johannesburg, where the Lions are at home once again. And the Lions, they love being at home, because who doesn't love being at home? Because it's that homeness, not flying away, not driving away, not going anywhere, just staying at home. Your home ground, your home stadium, your home fans, your family, your friends, all those people, it's all there, and it makes it a lot less of a stressful environment. And the Lions, playing as good as they are, really look to be a big threat. They were absolutely sublime last week, and a home team is a happy team, and the happy team gets the job done. The Jaguars, I think, were impressive last week against the Sharks and showed they have the ability that could upset some of the better teams in the competition. Have they turned that corner that could lead them to better performances throughout 2016? I don't know if it'll be enough for the Jaguars, but I'm hoping that they show that kind of commitment once again, that full 80-minute commitment, and they could put a bit of a tickle up on the Lions and maybe show them that they're not the pushovers that some sides think they are. The Jaguars need a good performance again. They need the performance for the rest of the season, and they need to cap it with a couple of wins. But I don't think it's going to come against the Lions, who I've got coming out on top, 29-21 over the Jaguars. The Sharks are in action next, and they're up against the Kings. And, well, what do you say when you're in a conversation involving the Kings? It's always grim news for the Kings, isn't it? They still attack well, like we've talked about time and time again, but defensively, they are still very much missing. They just can't defend anything. They couldn't defend a strong wind if they had to. The Sharks, I think last week they started to show a little bit of more attacking intent than we've seen from them so far this season. If they can build on that, and who better to build on it than against the Kings, they could really start to build nicely into the nitty-gritty, interesting part of the season. Not to mention that June internationals aren't too far away either, which will be massive. I think, there is only one more round remaining after this, and it is international time, which is when things start to get interesting. I've got the Sharks coming out on top of this one, convincingly enough as well. 47-22 over the Kings. We all know the Kings still have the capability to score points. I think they will score a few against the Sharks, but nowhere near enough. Final match of the weekend, and the Bulls. Well, what can we say about the Bulls? They're finally back at home, and they're up against the Stormers, who were woeful as well last weekend. So two sides who have been dreadful over recent weeks. The Bulls started off their tour terrifically. I think they played extremely well in their first tour match, but then it was all downhill in a bumpy old ride that just went from bad to worse, and they never saw any success following that first game on tour. The Stormers, what did we see last weekend from them? A late comeback draw against the Sunwolves, a team they should be absolutely destroying. So we got two teams who are struggling for form, struggling to find anything to really build their game on, but the way they're playing could make for an interesting fixture between each other. Who is going to come out and find some form? The Bulls, I like the way they attack. I like how they've changed their game and they're really using their talent. Because let's be fair, there's a lot of backline talent in South Africa that historically got just forgotten about. They were just out there to tackle and everything attacking was left to the forwards. Those days are gone, I think, and the Bulls are the team leading the charge. They are really exciting to watch. They just don't have that final touch and a little bit of continuity that they need to pick up between each other. For that, though, it's a really tough call, but on that basis is why I have the Bulls coming out on top of this one. Normally I'd pick the Stormers all day, every day, but I just like the way this Bulls team looks. They attack nicely, they look good, and they have no fear to chance their arm and to pull off that blinding play that'll often differentiate between winning and losing a match. It's that guts, it's that commitment, it's that determination that is always good to see in a rugby team. And I've got the Bulls coming out 28-26 over the Stormers. Should be a cracker though. I think that one could be two teams who are going to really grind out a big result. For one of them, whoever gets the win is going to put themselves just that little bit further ahead of the other on the table and in terms of confidence as well. Right, that is our 7 matches done and dusted for round 13. As always, get your picks in below as to who you think is going to win each matchup. And as always, once again, we will do a full review next week and have a look at how my picks went, how your picks went, and how all the teams went throughout the weekend as well. So thank you all for tuning in and watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Let me know if you have by leaving a thumbs up. And if you don't want to miss the review next week, hit that subscribe button as well so you don't miss out on the review and all the other action coming your way over the next few days on the channel. So thanks for tuning in and watching. Hope you're enjoying the content, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Until then, take care.